She left me for her art partner and made it public. I'm Anthony. I'm 34. I live in London. And this is the story of how I scandalously divorced my wife. We met at a gallery in Shoreditch, the kind that serves flat wine and calls spilled paint postmodern rebellion. Claire was barefoot on marble floors, laughing too loudly, her midnight blue dress dragging like smoke. I thought she was electric. She thought I was clever. Neither of us was entirely right. At the time, I worked in marketing for a furniture brand no one remembers. She was a corporate lawyer, cold in court, warm in chaos. At night, she moonlighted as a street artist, painting messages on underpasses that people photographed but never understood. We were opposites, but love doesn't care much for symmetry. We married after 11 months, the kind of wedding you tell stories about. Rooftop, fairy lights, a DJ who spun vinyl and forgot the bride's name. But we were mad about each other. At least I was. The first crack didn't come with a bang. It came with silence. On our second anniversary, I came home with wine and flowers. The flat was dark. No candles, no music, no Claire, just a note on the kitchen counter. I need space to breathe. I stared at it like it was written in a foreign language. That night, I found her at a jazz bar in Soho, the kind she liked, where the air smelled like gin and regret. She didn't see me. Or maybe she did and chose not to react. She left her coat on a stool and slipped into the night like smoke again. I waited there until the bar closed. Ordered one drink, then two, then nothing. Weeks passed. She came home, but something was gone. Claire had a new kind of silence, the weaponized kind. She smiled less, painted more. One night, I came back from work and found her asleep on the couch, phone unlocked beside her. I shouldn't have looked. I did anyway. A dozen messages. From M. Hate to wait. You taste like ink and fire. Tell him. I stood there, phone in hand, heart refusing to beat properly. When she woke, I held it up, like evidence. She didn't flinch. You never listened, Anthony. It felt like a line rehearsed for days. You were always working, always somewhere else. I wanted to scream. I wanted to beg. I said nothing. The next weekend, desperate to fix it, I drove us to Brighton. I thought the ocean might soften her. It didn't. We stood on the pier, wind whipping at our coats. I tried to joke about the fish and chips. She barely looked up. Finally, I asked, "Are you still in this?" She laughed. A cold, bitter thing. Are you? Then we fought. Loudly, violently. Not with fists, but with words sharpened over time. People turned to look. A seagull stole a chip from her hand, and she laughed again, but not at the bird. At me. 3 days later, she invited me to her office, just to talk. I thought maybe she wanted to reconcile. She did not. She sat behind a glass desk, hair tied back, red lipstick perfectly drawn. There was no warmth in her eyes, only precision. She'd prepared a list, a literal list. The times I forgot birthdays, the late nights brainstorming at work, the emotional distance she mapped, like crime scene tape. And then came the final blow. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. I blinked. You are the lawyer. She didn't smile. Not this time. The divorce became public quickly. Someone, maybe Marcus, maybe Claire herself, leaked it to a tabloid. The headline, Street Artist Wife, Paints Over Marriage with Another Man. Turns out, Marcus wasn't just M. He was her co-counsel, her confidant, possibly her new muse. The courtroom was brutal. Cold benches, cold eyes. She wore a crimson suit, like blood stitched into fabric. I wore navy, because I had no idea what else to wear to the funeral of a marriage. When asked if we had anything to say before the decree was finalized, I stood. My voice cracked. I loved her fiercely, but I failed to keep her. She stood too. For the first time in months, her voice wavered. I left because I had to find myself. The judge didn't blink. He signed the papers like he was sealing a box. Done. I wandered through Hyde Park afterward. It was February. The trees were bare. I felt the same. Weeks passed. I stopped expecting her messages, stopped looking at our old photos. Then one morning a letter arrived. No name, just an address, an invite. The collective was unveiling a mural, a giant phoenix, painted on the wall of a derelict theatre in Camden. I went, of course. How could I not? The painting was enormous. Fiery wings spreading over the skyline, ash still dripping from the feathers. At the bottom, in Claire's unmistakable handwriting, sometimes you have to burn it all down to discover how brightly you can shine. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't cry, but I understood. I'm Anthony, 34, London. My marriage ended in scandal, in silence and fire and betrayal. But some stories, like phoenixes, need to burn before they can rise. And this one rose. Some stories must burn to rise again.